The opening trick. The film begins in Paris, where the Horsemen stage a dazzling charity gala show inside the Louvre. They make priceless jewels seem to float around the audience before vanishing into thin air, then reappear encased inside a frozen block of water at the center of the stage. The spectacle earns thunderous applause, until mid-performance, another group of masked magicians suddenly appears, disrupting the illusion. They expose the Horsemen's mechanics, unraveling the spectacle in front of everyone. The crowd gasps, their excitement replaced by confusion, while the rival group disappears in smoke, leaving the Horsemen humiliated. Atlas signals the team for an emergency escape. They attempt their signature vanishing act, using hidden trapdoors and holograms, but the rivals already anticipated it, blocking exits and cutting the lights. The Horsemen barely manage to escape through improvised sleight of hand and smoke bombs. Outside, news cameras catch their chaotic departure, painting them as frauds. The headlines the next morning read, "The Horsemen outplayed." Dylan gathers the team in a hidden ice safe house beneath the Paris catacombs. A holographic transmission from the Eye's Grandmaster warns them of the Phantoms, a rogue faction of magicians who reject the Eye's principles. Unlike the Horsemen, the Phantoms embrace reckless chaos and personal profit. The Grandmaster cautions that this is no longer about illusions. It's about control over information, power, and trust. Recognizing they need fresh blood, Dylan proposes recruiting Lina Cortez, a fearless Spanish illusionist who gained underground fame for daring street magic and bold escapes. Handcuff tricks, fire stunts, disappearing acts in crowded plazas. Atlas resents Dylan's decision, claiming he doesn't trust outsiders. Lula is intrigued but skeptical, while Merritt jokes that they need someone young enough to still bend their back. Lina joins reluctantly, but her sharp, rebellious wit immediately clashes with Atlas's methodical leadership. The Eye reveals the mission. The Phantoms have stolen half of a quantum decryption device that can crack any digital security system worldwide. If they assemble the full device, they could unmask the Eye and control governments. The Horsemen must steal the second half from a high-tech vault in Singapore before the Phantoms get to it. Dylan warns, this isn't just a trick, it's war. In Berlin, the Phantoms put on their own performance. Unlike the Horsemen's inspiring shows, the Phantoms lean into dark theatrics, levitations with chains, illusions using fire and blood, and mind games that terrify rather than entertain. At the climax, their leader Victor Crane steps forward, mocking the Horsemen in front of a roaring underground audience. He declares, "The era of playful magic is over. Illusion belongs to those willing to use it as power." The Horsemen infiltrate Singapore's vault disguised as maintenance staff, using sleight of hand, misdirection with reflections, and hacking disguises. Just as Atlas cracks the lock with an intricate illusion involving mirrors, the Phantoms arrive, mirroring every move. What begins as a stealth operation turns into a magician's duel, each side countering illusions with illusions, switching safes, projecting false images, and using fake alarms. The vault descends into chaos as two shows overlap, stunning the unsuspecting guards. The Horsemen manage to escape with what they believe is the device half. But as they celebrate, they realize it's just an elaborate decoy planted by the Phantoms. Crane and his group anticipated the theft, tricking them into taking a useless replica. Worse, the Phantoms now have both halves of the device. For the first time, the Horsemen feel completely outsmarted. Dylan privately admits to Atlas that Victor Crane was once his father's protege. After Dylan's father died during a botched escape trick, Crane blamed the Eye for failing to save him. He turned bitter, vowing to expose and destroy the Eye's legacy. Dylan has kept this history secret out of guilt, fearing the team would lose trust in him. Atlas feels betrayed by Dylan's secrecy, deepening the rift. The team fractures. Atlas blames Dylan for withholding information. Lula suspects Lina might already be playing both sides, given her recent meetings with strangers. Merritt tries to keep morale up with quips, but even his twin brother Chase, appearing via video calls, warns that mistrust will be their downfall. The once unified horsemen feel like they're unraveling. During a solo walk through London, Lena is approached by Evelyn Noir, Crane's second-in-command. Evelyn tempts Lena with promises of fame, wealth, and independence if she abandons the horsemen. "You'll never be more than a pawn to them," Evelyn whispers. Lena is visibly shaken, her allegiance uncertain. The audience is left wondering whether she's a double agent. The horsemen learn that Crane intends to activate the decryption device during a global live broadcast in London. His plan: hijack every screen in the world to reveal the names and faces of the Eye's members, exposing their secrets and dismantling their power. The Eye gives the horsemen one last chance: prevent Crane's broadcast or be expelled from the Order forever. The horsemen regroup in an abandoned London theater, the same one Dylan's father once performed in. Inspired by the past, they choreograph their most ambitious routine, a heist performed inside the broadcast itself. Atlas designs complex mirror illusions. Merritt practices mass hypnosis tricks. Lula prepares shocking stage escapes, and Lena contributes daring street-level scams. Dylan warns them, every trick has a cost. Be ready to pay it. The night of the broadcast arrives. The Phantoms hijack global screens, setting up in a tower overlooking the Thames. The horsemen infiltrate disguised as stagehands, lighting crew, and even phantom doubles. The broadcast begins. Crane declares the Eye finished, while the horsemen quietly set illusions in motion beneath his stage. The horsemen reveal themselves mid-broadcast, sparking a spectacular duel across London. Merritt hypnotizes entire security squads into seeing doubles of the horsemen. Atlas and Crane face off with dueling card tricks that escalate into elaborate vanishing acts. Lula chains herself inside a cage dropped into the Thames, only to reappear on top of the London Eye. Lena manipulates street crowds to create diversions. The spectacle plays out like a public war of magic, breathtaking yet dangerous. When Crane demands the final access code from Lena, she pretends to betray the horsemen, handing it over. Atlas rages, but the code is revealed as a fake crafted by Atlas and Lena together. The device backfires, projecting fabricated data that exposes the Phantom's schemes instead. Lena's loyalty is solidified, and the team finally accepts her as one of their own. Refusing defeat, Crane attempts his ultimate escape, replicating Dylan's father's legendary trick involving chains, a water tank, and smoke bombs. But Dylan anticipates his every move. He reverses the trick in front of the world, trapping Crane in his own illusion. The rival magician is arrested, his humiliation complete. The world expects the horsemen to be exposed, but instead, the tables turn. Using their nested illusions, the horsemen reveal the Phantom's true identities live on air: con artists, frauds, and criminals. Their crimes are broadcast globally, their reputations destroyed. The public sees the horsemen not as outplayed magicians, but as protectors of illusion and justice. The legacy of the Eye. In the aftermath, Dylan is summoned by the Eye. For the first time, he meets the true Grandmaster, a wise, elderly magician who explains that every generation of illusionists faces a test of balance between using magic for wonder or corruption. The Grandmaster commends Dylan for restoring that balance, reminding him, magic is not about power, it's about faith. The film closes in Times Square, where the horsemen perform a modest street show. They dazzle a small crowd with card tricks, sleight of hand, and simple illusions, ending by vanishing in front of everyone. The crowd erupts in applause as the screen fades to black, echoing the words, "The closer you look, the less you see."